Hello, everyone. Hope you're doing well. I thought we would have a look at all of the vehicles that are coming in for the Great War event. We're having a look at them in the files because there seems to be a bit of a problem kind of showing them in game. But as we unlock them, we can do some little reviews and kind of show you what the vehicles are like. Because why not? Might as well have a bit of fun with it. The first vehicle we are having a look at is the Mark V. This is coming in for good old Britain. And it's a vehicle which I suppose is probably the most well known out of a lot of the World War I vehicles. Probably this one and the A7V are the two that people know the most. And in War Thunder, it's going to be coming in with a pretty boosted engine, which is why I'm not really going to go over the stats of the engines because they've just made them a lot quicker than they really should be. So I know it's pretty unrealistic, but it is what it is. But I thought what we would do is focus on kind of the weaponry that this vehicle has and also the X-ray, because one of the things you will notice is how many crew are in this vehicle. You can see 2 at the front. You then have 2 at the side here, 3 at this side, and then, of course, a guy on the back too. So this is jam-packed full of people, and also with the small engine in the middle just powering this behemoth. You can really understand why people struggled when it came to the gases of this thing, and also just general suffocation. The heat was also insane in the Mark series as well, which is just nuts. Now, this vehicle has 2 Hotchkiss Marks 1s, which are 57mm, or 6-pounders if you are British. You can see one here on this side, one on this side. They do have a limited firing arc, which isn't exactly great, but at the same time, at least you have 2 of them, and depending on how you angle the vehicle, you will be able to hit both. You also have access to 4 8mm machine guns, one on the side here. You also have one here, and then another on here, and then on the back. So wherever you get attacked by, at least if it's infantry, you'll be able to deal with it. It has full coverage, apart from on the top, but generally, you're not going to find that in any World War I vehicles because of how they are set up. At the same time, there is a bunch of other kind of factors which look really cool about this machine. Mainly the exhaust that they've actually set up on it looks really cool. And then also the signaling setup here, which they've actually modeled in the game, which I think is really awesome. The fact they put so much time into this is just really cool to me. And I'm very happy to see it as well. There are, of course, a bunch of others that are here, more iconic First World War vehicles, and what is more iconic for the French than the Saint-Chamond, or the Saint-Chamond, as it's more known in English. This is definitely a fantastic show of what an assault kind of tank is, which all of these vehicles are, but the French really took it to an extensive limit by basically just making a battering ram with a 75mm on the front, which is the Saint-Chamond. You can also see that it has an 8mm right here, and then it has 4 around the place, so 2 on the sides, and then also it has 1 on the booty too, but at a slight off angle compared to where it is. One of the things you also may notice about this vehicle is it is incredibly asymmetrical, which may do some people in, and kind of does me in at the same time. On the front, it's a lot more symmetrical, but not fully, but better than the back. You can also see that they have actually modeled the internals of these vehicles quite well, and it's actually really cool to see that they've taken the amount of effort to put into it, and that is just really awesome. They also have, of course, done the X-ray too. And you can see all of the Frenchies that are going to be in this vehicle. Most of them aren't even able to stand up, which kind of sucks for them. But you can see the driver on this side. They've actually fully modeled the driver setup. You also have what I believe is the main armament gunner here, and then everybody else who is either loaders or machine gunners that are attached, plus also the secondary systems like the transmission, the radiator, and the engine. It looks really cool, and it's just Fantastic to see. By the way, all of these vehicles are 1.0 in the game, so they're not going to be ones which are really going to kind of take the game by storm. But at the same time, that isn't really a surprise, right? Like that's, kind of standard practice for vehicles like this. The next vehicle is the Garford Putilov. This is the Russian vehicle or the Soviet vehicle, depending on when it was built. Obviously, you had the revolution during the First World War, where the Russian Federation became the USSR. No, not the Russian Federation. Sorry, that's the more modern one. My bad. More of the kind of the monarchy side of Russia, changing into the USSR. So, the Garford Putilov is a more truck instead of a tank. You can see it's actually wheeled. The wheels on the back actually are half chained, which seems really odd. I don't know why you wouldn't fully chain them. It just seems a little bit weird, unless I suppose you're worried about that getting kind of stuck in them, but it'll give it a little bit of extra traction. And also, what this vehicle has access to is it has three 7.62mm Maxims, one here in this like weird little turret, and then another weird little turret on the other side. And then you have a Maxim in this turret on the back, and a bigger gun, the 76.2mm Model 1910. So that will give this thing more firepower than a lot of the other vehicles that have lower caliber guns. But yeah, the actual setup of this thing is just completely ridiculous. It just looks crazy with how it's set up. It does have less crew, but not by many. It still has 6 in this tiny vehicle. And also, gunners, commander, and also the guys set up back here. So the vehicle itself just looks crazy. This is coming in for Germany in the Garford Butte, and then also for the Soviets for the Garford itself. So there is 2 of them there. You can even see on the front here, it even has some little windows for the engine, which I'm guessing would be more of the air intake so it doesn't overheat, since it's basically just an armored box, which it will, of course, struggle with. The next vehicle is the SPAD. So this is the SPAD 13. Basically, this is a French biplane. Unfortunately, you're not going to be able to keep this one. This one is going to be available in Aces of Thunder, which is really cool. But in War Thunder, it won't be available yet. My guess is what they're going to do in War Thunder is some kind of weird combo event with Aces of Thunder, where they're going to be able to actually like put them all together and kind of make like a collaborative pack. If you buy Aces of Thunder, maybe you can get these in War Thunder 2. You can see that they've actually fully modeled the cockpit as well, which is really nice. The cockpit itself, I'll actually kind of show it to you in high definition. Here you go. So the cockpit itself is fully HDified, and this is something that we saw in the Aces of Thunder trailer, and it was really cool to see. So it's just all ready and ready to go. This vehicle has 2 guns on the front of it. They are 2 7.7mm machine guns. It doesn't have any bombs or anything like that, but it has really good maneuverability and also just a really good camouflage. And it's really nice to actually get some French kind of air vehicles from the First World War. I feel like France in general kind of gets forgotten about when it comes to vehicles in the First World War, or just in general. There's always the chat about Britain and also, of course, America joining later, but the major battles on the Western Front happened in France, and not having them being represented would have sucked. So the fact that we have the Saint-Chamond, the fact that we have the SPAD is really, really cool to see. Talking about more representation for vehicles, we have the HP-12. The HP-12 being a British bomber, and it is a big boy. This is a dual-engine bomber. Kind of sad we didn't see a tri-engine, actually, because there was some really cool tri-engines that existed in the kind of First World War. But this one also, even though it is a bomber, does also have a fully fledged cockpit. And this is a vehicle that we didn't really see in terms of the Aces of Thunder VR setup. So I wonder what's going to happen with this vehicle. You can see on the front that it has a machine gun. This vehicle actually has 4 Lewis machine guns, these 7.7mm. And look at the beautiful engines on this thing. Aren't they really cool to see? They look amazing. So it has one Lewis machine gun here. It also has two right here. And then I can't remember where the last one is when it comes to the vehicle. There it is, right underneath as it shoots down. So this vehicle has a really cool setup on it. And it also has the bomb bay, which is built into it. You can see it right here. And it will be able to carry 8 230-pound HE bombs, meaning that it will be very deadly to a lot of vehicles that are around. But this vehicle just looks amazing. I just love it. I can't believe that we have World War I aircraft in the game. I've been waiting so long for this, and I really hope that this is kind of the kickstart to get some of these beautifully amazing machines in. If you don't know about World War I bombers, what I would honestly say is please research some First World War, but also interwar Italian bombers. They're really cool, really interesting, and have amazing designs. A lot of triple engine setups there, which I personally am a big fan of. So the next vehicle is, of course, the A7V. This is probably the most well-known one when it comes to Germany. This is a standard skin. It does have some other skins as well. This is really just a box with a lot of guns on it. It has the 57mm Maxim Nordenfelt gun, which is its main armament on the front. You can see that it's in like a standard mount, so it's going to be able to turn left to the right and also not have a problem where you have to turn the whole vehicle to be able to get the gun on target. It also does have some angled armor on the front. You do have to remember the A7V is a vehicle that actually came out a little bit later than a lot of the other ones that were about, and it therefore had quite a few improvements compared to the standard ones, but they didn't really make enough to make a huge difference compared to the Entente, which was already kind of going forward with that war machine. The A7V also has 6 7.92mm machine guns. You can see 2 on the side here, 2 on the back, and then also 2 on the side over here. So this really is just an armored pillbox at the end of the day. And to showcase that, you could see how many people are in this machine. Like, let's give it a count, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 people in this machine, which is just nuts. And of course, the engines under the driver and everybody else. So yeah, an absolutely crazy amount of people. And it's just weird to think about the driver is actually sit here at the top of it instead of at the front, which is how they were able to keep this thing to have a kind of centrally mounted main armament, unlike everybody else that is around. So there is also another kind of British vehicle, but this one is actually coming in for the Germans, and I just need to make sure that I can find it because it does have a slightly different name. So you have the Mark V, right, which is right here. Okay, I finally found it. It's known as the Beutpanzer Mk IV in the files, so I was spelling it wrong. Well done. But basically what this is a British captured vehicle for the Germans. So this is different from the Mark V. The difference is mainly its armament. So the Mark IV, instead of having 4 8mm, it actually has 3 7.72mm. So you can see one here, then also one on this side, and then one on the front here. So it loses that backwards machine gun. And also its 2 guns are actually the same ones that are on the A7V. So this one gets the 2 57mm Maxim Nordenfelt guns instead of the Hotchkiss Mark Is that the Mark V has. So I'm sure there are other differences, probably in terms of engine power and maybe the way that things are situated. But you can see it doesn't have that crew member at the back because obviously there's no machine gun there. So a little bit less survivability, but it's very similar to the Mark V, at least in how it's set up. It also kind of shows how the way that it's working is Germany gets 2 captured vehicles, showing the limited amount of vehicles you can actually add from the First World War period. Even in this specific event, there isn't really a ton that's kind of going on for it. So yeah, it shows you how limited these things are, but also it's just really cool to see them, as we talked about before. And Germany has a few tricks up their sleeve when it comes to the air side of things, and this is where it becomes really interesting. So first of all, you have the Fokker D.VII, probably the most iconic German aircraft in terms of World War One. Like I don't think there is another one that really kind of is known more, apart from maybe the Tri-Fighter, which, you know, was more of kind of the Red Baron's plane. But you can see that they've actually gone all out in terms of this camouflage, which is really cool. And they've put so much effort into it, which is awesome. Plus, it has a fully sorted cockpit, which is amazing as well. And the vehicle has two 7.92mm machine guns. By the way, if you're interested in the history of these machines, like the full-on history, we could make individual videos on it, but it's really up to if you want to see it. It does have an exposed engine at the front, which I think is really cool. I wonder if they'll actually make it animated as well, which I would love to see, but obviously that is not something which they can always do. You can also see the kind of camouflage pattern that this thing has, which is pretty cool. So if you actually go below it, you have the kind of camouflage, so it's a little bit harder to see. And then from above, it's much easier to see, so you can work out what it is and where it is, because obviously you don't really want to shoot down your own planes, but you do want to make sure you don't get shot from the ground by machine guns. But yeah, this is just another biplane from the First World War, one of the most iconic ones, at least from the German point of view. And then we have the behemoth. This is the Zeppelin LZ 62 L30R. This thing is huge. It's massive. It's absolutely huge, and it has a ridiculous armament attached to it. And one of the coolest things about it is exceptionally modeled. So you can see inside here, they have actually modeled all of the interiors with the machine guns, with the kind of pilot helm, and also with all of the engines in it too. Each of these are all modeled, so they all have their own steering wheel, they have their machine guns, and then also the engines on each of them, propelling the machine forward, with the most engines, of course, in the back one. You also have the internals of this modeled, which is really interesting. You can see here, I'm guessing this is like fuel cells or something similar, even though it was all filled with, of course, hydrogen gas, quite explosive. And then even on the top, you have the machine guns that are modeled here. So the vehicle itself, as a general kind of armament goes, it has 10 7.92mm MG14 machine guns. So some on the top, and then each of these have machine guns attached to them, with a few more in certain areas than others. And then also, look at this. Okay, imagine being this gunner back here. Like, imagine being this guy. You are just chilling on the back of this huge thing and hoping for the best. And yeah, he does technically have like a little hatch, which I'm guessing you could get to the rest of the plane or the Zeppelin with. But yeah, I don't know how that's going to go for him. Also, this vehicle has 14 300-kilo CAG bombs. So it can drop quite a lot of bombs from it, which is really interesting. And I'm wondering if these are the bombs. These might be them, just thinking about how many are actually here. But at the same time, that means that if it gets to the battlefield and is able to drop those bombs, it will be quite devastating. But it probably won't be able to. It's a massive machine and really awesome to see. And I'm glad that we are seeing it when it comes to War Thunder. So that's all of the new vehicles that are coming in for this event. And a lot of them you're able to keep forever, which is just fantastic. It's just really, really, really awesome to see. And as always, I hope you have a wonderful day. And I'll see you next time. I'd just like to thank GMG Smiley, CD Beans, Chieftain Mike, EMN3 Galaxy, Tulio Pontecorvo, Brendan Quinn, Carrion Crow, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Wartinder, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, B. Young, Ozzy Panzer, Alan Hacker, Liam Shear, Opium Prime, Lafouche, Sem, Aslan, Uncle Bean, and Derek R. for supporting the channel.